Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail the story of Crip founder, Raymond Washington. Raymond Washington was born on August 14, 1953. He was one of several sons, and his parents separated when he was around 2 years old. He was raised by his mother and stepfather. Raymond grew up on 76th Street, between Wadsworth and Central Avenues, on the east side of South Central Los Angeles. Growing up in Los Angeles in the 50s and 60s, Raymond was known to be a troublemaker and always for getting into fights. Raymond protected members of his neighborhood from outsiders, but was also known to bully those same people he protected. Raymond was known to intimidate people and always trying to settle matters with his fists. He became known for fighting so much, it led to him being expelled from school and also later being sent to juvenile detention camps. In the late 1960s, when Raymond was a teenager, he admired the Black Panthers in their attempt to bring social change through their militant positions. Raymond sought to emulate those tactics, and he eventually joined the Avenue Street Gang, led by Craig Munson, who I did a previous episode about. If you haven't seen that already, check it out. Raymond was known for talking slick, and he'd be talking about Craig's mom playing the dozens, which Craig would get angry about. Craig was 18 and significantly bigger than 15-year-old Raymond. He would slap Raymond in the face, and that would cause Raymond to say, "I'm gonna make my own gang," which eventually would be the Crips. And many organizations and gangs in Los Angeles were later disbanded on several factors, like the Slossons, the Businessman, and also the Los Angeles Black Panther branch. And Craig Munson going to prison in 1970, this will open up the streets for Raymond's influence. Raymond would slowly start building up a crew of Crips with his close friends, and anybody they recruited would go through gladiator school, which meant fighting to sharpen up their skills and lifting weights. Raymond only wanted the toughest people in his gang. Raymond's tactics for expanding the membership of the Crips primarily consisted of challenging the leaders of rival gangs to a fight, and upon defeating them, invited members of the rival gang to join the Crips. He also told rival gang members if they refused to join the Crips, they would become an enemy and they would get attacked. And with the spread of Crips to the west side of South Central, with Tookie, who was a factor on the west side, and Raymond building a relationship, bringing their crews together under the Crip umbrella, it led to Crips later expanding all over LA County. Many Crips would start to pop up, and Raymond was known to go to various Crip hoods with his status and looked upon like a god. In 1974, Raymond was arrested for second-degree robbery, and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, and he would go to Tracy. While in prison, he began to recruit young African-American inmates into the Crips, much to the disapproval of the Nation of Islam and a black guerrilla family. Many people in prison wouldn't like Raymond off the factor of what the Crips would be doing in the streets and what they became. While he was doing time in prison, the Crips would become an unstructured wild group of bullies, killers, and terrorists in the streets. And when most came to prison, they kept the same mentality, causing a rift between other black organizations. Raymond would get out of prison after a few years and see what he left behind completely change. Crips' main rivals, in fact, became Crips. A lot of inner beef and several sets popping up made it hard for Raymond to put the Crips back together to once they was and be fully unified. And with the new growing factor and presence of new gangs and leaders, with his years off the streets, Raymond didn't have the power and control of every gang anymore. The Crips had grew uncontrollable while Raymond was gone and had taken Los Angeles by storm. But Raymond was still highly respected in the streets as he was the founder of the Los Angeles biggest black gang, and he stayed relevant in the following years. But by the end of the 70s, Crips' original leadership was in turmoil. Compton Crip leader Mac Thomas had been killed, and Tookie went to prison for murder, and more Crips became rivals by the years. In 1979 would be a hard year for the Crips. Raymond was hanging out on the corner when a car pulled up, and an unidentified occupant called Raymond to a car. Raymond always made it a point never to walk up to cars of people that he didn't know. Raymond apparently knew the occupants of the car because he told another person that he knew them, and they engaged in a brief conversation before an occupant in the passenger seat drew a sawed-off shotgun and shot Raymond. Raymond was later rushed to the hospital, where he would later die. It has always been many theories on who killed Raymond Washington. Some people say Bloods, some people say Crips, and some people say Hoovers. Some people has even went as far as saying the police, but still to this day, no one really knows who killed Raymond Washington. Even though he was killed at the young age of 25, Raymond Washington's impact still greatly affects the world. Crips expanded to other cities and states, and even other countries, being one of the largest gangs in the world. Many celebrities, rappers, athletes, all would become Crips and spread the word and knowledge of Crips around the globe. And to think, Crips were started by a teenager over 40 years ago. R.I.P. to Raymond Washington. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.